Bless the Lord, O my soul, blessed art thou, Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all he hath done for thee, who is gracious unto all thine iniquities.
Well, anyone who takes a good look at me on the street in Seattle knows that they're seeing something that is having something to do with the past. I have always been a stickler for monastic attire ever since I was tonsured a monk some 40 years ago. I also love the tradition of the church. I remember when I first became Orthodox, I would enter into the temple and I would make sometimes an exaggerated form of the cross, and I'd prostrate. And I did all the externals. And now at 77, I'm unable to do most of those external things. If I went down and prostrated on the floor, I would probably have to have some of my monks help me to my feet. So age progresses. Recently, I saw something on the news about some Hollywood stars that were shown as they had aged. And a few of them were unrecognizable. I'm unrecognizable from what I was when I was in my early 20s. And I can only imagine what I'm going to be like if the Lord keeps me around into my 80s and 90s, what I will look like then. I think this really is demonstrative of what it means to be an Orthodox Christian. All these external things that we do are important. External piety is important. But unfortunately, many people cling to those external things to the expense of that which is eternal, that which is inside the heart, the eye of the soul, the nous. I look at young people today, especially all the young men that visit this monastery, and I look at my monks who are all much older or much younger than I, and my heart is quickened with the knowledge that the faith is continuing, even though my years are probably coming towards an end. I made a comment to some young people that were visiting recently about one of my favorite comedians, Jackie Gleason, and immediately realized they had no idea who Jackie Gleason was. The Honeymooners was a black and white television show that was a favorite of my family's. We watched it every week. And now most people have no idea anything. They have no idea what the Honeymooners was and who Jackie Gleason was. And when I think about that, I think about, with the exception of saints, that we commemorate in our services and light candles before their icons. Most of those Orthodox Christians who have gone on before us, especially the monastics that I've been aware of over the years, are part of a faded memory. I have no doubt that someday I will be a faded memory, but not in the eyes of God. As I move towards the kingdom, I know that I have eternal life in Jesus Christ. And I know that this body that has housed my soul all these many years has an expiration date. But the eternal has no expiration date, which is why, as an Orthodox Christian, I must keep my focus on Christ and live my life as best I can with the rhythm of the Church and its liturgical celebrations. This is the first week of Great and Holy Lent. I look at myself now as opposed to when I first became a monk, and I feel sort of a certain amount of sadness that I cannot do the strict fasting that I did before because of the medications that I have to take. And I cannot do the prostrations that I did before because as I said earlier, I cannot get up on my own. But these are years that God gifted me. He gifted these years to me as my opportunity to draw closer to his kingdom. And so all of us need to have that in the forefront of our vision. When I meet young people, I know that they are like I was when I was in my early 20s. You sort of feel like you're going to live on forever. When I was young in my early 20s, I thought that being 30 was over the hill. And then as I turned 28, I got more fearful. Oh my gosh, I'm only a few years before turning 30 and I'll be spent and over the hill. And now at 77, I look around me and I still feel energized by the gift of life that God has given me. And I look at the young people that have come to this monastery with great hope for the future. But I also realize that part of the reason why I believe God has kept me around this long is that I might be an encouragement to the next generation to stay true to the faith and to recognize that it's just as externals are important, that it is the eternal, the inward part of us that needs to be nurtured. And the more we nurture the inner self, the soul, the eye, the nous, the eye of the heart, the more others see the light of Christ in us. And that is really the way that I can, in my own feeble way, pass on the hope that I have for the eternal kingdom that is to come. So it is with this in mind that I ask God's blessings on all of you as we continue this Lenten journey.
Both now and ever and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Only begotten Son,